we welcome you on a Saturday night for baseball in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're at Miller Park. The roof is wide open. It is a beautiful night for baseball. And the Marlins are in town. It's game 2 of this 3-game series. The Brewers winning last night. The pitching matchup, a couple of Texans, Yovani Gallardo against Nathan Eovaldi. And a Negro League tribute night tonight here at Miller Park. Cool uniforms, huh? Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us tonight. See if the Brewers can make it back-to-back wins here to start the second half. And one of the reasons why the Brewers have been so good here lately is because their bullpen has been outstanding, continues to be the best part of this ball club.
Yeah, after a very slow start, the month of April was not very good to the Brewers bullpen, but things kind of turned around in the beginning part of May. May 7th, no team in the National League or the American League has been any better, a 247 earned run average. The Brewers bullpen now has defined roles, and I think a lot of it has to do with Francisco Rodriguez. K-Rod came in about mid-May. Jim Henderson went on the disabled list. He started closing out games. He had his first save on May 24th. He has been closing games ever since, 10 for 10, and I think just another guy at the end of the bullpen has really helped Henderson, John Axford, everybody else in their defined roles, and that's why I think they've been so good.
Well, you don't know how long he'll be a Brewer, but he is pitching well in that role. Frankie Rodriguez. It's Yovani Gallardo on the mound tonight. He has dominated the Marlins in his career. Craig Cashon and Jerry Augustine will have the Gallardo fish story when we come back.
Your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota, let's go places. And by AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. Going back to the basics, that's for sure for the tailgating. Looking good, though, outside Miller Park. Marlins and Brewers inside the ballpark here tonight for Game 2 of their series. Yovani Gallardo out on the hill. And, Jerry, an inconsistent season, no doubt about that. But when it comes to facing the Marlins in his career, he's flawless. he's been throwing the ball very well against the Marlins. But then that all starts with having that great command. Well, Yovani Gallardo likes to get that comfort zone. When he can command that fastball, utilize that breaking ball, everything seems to fall in place for him. He gets ahead of hitters. He puts the ball in contact early, and that is good for Yovani Gallardo. So Yo goes up against the Marlins once again here at Miller Park. And the Brewers off to a great start in the series with a big 2-0 win in yesterday's game. Hoping to get one more here and take the series already. Enjoy it. It's coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Negro League Tribute Night. And Ricky Weeks, his grandfather played in the Negro Leagues. Victor was a member of the Newark Eagles. And he looks right at home in that uniform. The Marlins are decked out in their 1956 International League uniforms tonight. That featured one of the great Negro League players, Satchel Paige. And you see the 29 patch on Mike Redmond's sleeve. So a great night to honor a great game. Piggly Wiggly batting order for Redmond tonight. The Marlins send up Adeiny Hechavarria to lead off. Ed Lucas, then Giancarlo Stanton. Middle of the order is Logan Morrison, Marcelo Ozuna, then Derek Dietrich. Justin Ruggiano, Jeff Mathis, and Nathan Eovaldi rounded out. That's the batting order that will face the Marlins killer, Yovani Gallardo.
Yeah, Yo making his 21st start, 7th start against the Marlins in his career. He's 4-0 and a 129 earned run average against the Marlins. All 6 of his starts against the Fish, quality starts. And he beat the Marlins early in June, 6-1.
Well, Gallardo, that was probably his best game of the year in those 8 shutout innings. See the 4-man umpiring crew in place with Larry Vanover, the veteran umpire, calling the balls and strikes. The crew chief is over at first base tonight, Brian Gorman. All set for baseball tonight as Gallardo is ready to deal his first pitch. Hechavarria takes a strike, and away we go. Adeiny Hechavarria, after 3 hits last night and a blistering hot month of July, is in the leadoff spot for the Marlins. Getting very little production out of the top 2 hitters in front of Stanton and Morrison, so Mike Redmond tonight makes a change. He's got Hechavarria leading off. Ed Lucas in the lineup tonight at third base.
Well, you want your hot hitters when you're not scoring a lot of runs up in front of Stanton and Morrison. They're 2 run producers.
Well, Echeverria is the hottest guy in the lineup. He's having a great month. He's hitting .444 during the month of July. Has 24 hits already this month. 3 of those came last night. That's the best batting average in the major leagues for the month of July. And in 6 of his last 7 games, he has at least 2 hits. So the old question is, do you take a guy out of a comfort zone hitting typically 7th or 8th, where he's been really having a lot of success, and you move him up to the leadoff spot? Do you change that up?
Yeah, no, but a guy that's got the confidence up there at the plate, it really shouldn't matter. But hitting in the leadoff spot on the road is a bit of a different animal. You get up there before you're able to get loose, get an at bat. But he's made some nice adjustments, has Echeverria at the plate, really concentrating on driving it to the opposite field. He did that 3 times last night.
2-2 to Echeverria, and he swings and fouls it away. Those Marlins uniforms tonight are pretty cool. They throw back to their AAA franchise of 1956, and a 50-year-old Satchel Paige was their pitcher. That was a team that was owned by Bill Veeck, and he's the one who hired Paige to go in there and be what they thought was an attraction at the gate, and he certainly was. But Satchel Paige ended up being one of their best pitchers. He won 11 games that year and had an ERA of 1.86 as a 50-year-old.
Right, blowing hitters away at that age, and flipping up that very slow curveball. And old Satchel Paige, what a legend he was.
I love those uniforms. And of course, as they became a major league team, the Florida Marlins, they just returned to the Miami Marlins moniker last season in that old Marlins logo. And a tribute to the Negro Leagues tonight. Full count, and Echeverria fouls it away. Yeah, well, one of the guys who put the Negro Leagues on the map was Satchel Paige, and that's that curveball Rock's talking about. And he had a lot more than that, though, didn't he?
Get the high hard one right here. See you later. Yeah, he's something else. 42 years old as a rookie, and pitched well into his 50s.
He was a dominant force in the Negro National League in the 20s and the 30s. Echeverria, after a long battle, flies out, and that's how the night begins for Yovani Gallardo. And let's check the Menards Brewers defense. And Rock again, Ryan Braun getting the start in left field.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Same configuration as last night for Ron Renicky. Braun, Gomez, Aoki in the outfield. Bianchi gets another start at third base. Segura Weeks up the middle. Francisco belted a home run in yesterday's ball game at first. And Jonathan Lucroy once again behind home plate.
So 1 away, and here is Ed Lucas, his first start of the series. Yesterday it was Placido Polanco at third base. Been quite a story, quite a season for Ed Lucas. 10 years in the minor leagues and getting a chance in the big leagues, and he has done well, and he's been able to stick up here in the major leagues with the Marlins. He's a good defender. He's a shortstop by trade, but most of his playing time has come at third base this year. But he has started games at all 4 infield positions this season, making his 23rd start of the season tonight at third base. On a hop to Weeks, and Gallardo has retired the first 2. Now the Brewers wearing the 1923 Milwaukee Bears uniforms, and of course Satchel Paige was not quite yet a big part of the Negro Leagues at that time. That would come just a few years later, but I don't think you could ever track this. There's no way of ever knowing, but I think it's pretty safe to say, right, that no pitcher in the history of baseball threw more professional pitches than Satchel Paige in his lifetime. Can't imagine. He played for everyone. He played in winter ball. He barnstormed. He played in the Negro Leagues.
Yeah. Hey, rubber arm, I guess. They didn't have surgery back then, and once you hurt your arm, you were done. So he was something else. Well, you hear stories about him, and you read books about Satchel Paige. Fascinating.
There's Giancarlo Stanton, who takes a strike, and Gallardo quickly ahead of him, 0-2. This is the big bat that the Brewers have to be careful with, and they handled him last night very well. Stanton was 0 for 4. He and Logan Morrison combined to go 1 for 8. The Brewers spinning a combined 6-hit shutout last night. Started with Loesch, who went 6 innings. Axford, Henderson, and K-Rod finished it off.
Well, you would guess that this Marlins lineup, not too many of these hitters have had much success against Gallardo, given that Yo hasn't given up hardly anything against the Marlins in his career. Only 6 earned runs in 42 innings. The only guy with any success at all is the guy at the plate. And Stanton only is 4 for 12, a .333 batting average, but nobody else really has done much against Gallardo.
Giancarlo Stanton playing in just his 53rd game of the year. He has spent a month on the disabled list with a hamstring injury. Has 10 home runs, just shy of 200 at bats. If you like to do the quick math, typically in a full season, if you remain healthy, you get about 600 at bats, maybe 550, 600, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so you can tell the kind of start that Stanton's off to. And 10 home runs doesn't feel like a typical Mike Stanton home run year, but after missing a month, that's a pretty good number. And Gallardo walks him with 2 outs. Now the pitching was the story last night, really from both sides. Kyle Lohse got the win, his 6th win of the year. Jacob Turner pitched well as well, but it was the Brewers who put up the shutout, and their 6th shutout for Milwaukee in the last 29 games.
And we talked about on our pregame show, talking about how effective the bullpen has been, and I think Rodriguez, K-Rod's addition about mid-May has really solidified the back end of that bullpen. Lohse outstanding. They had Axford, Henderson, chipping in with scoreless innings, and K-Rod a 3-up, 3-down ninth. And the Brewers did not have a shutout for the first 66 games, and in about 29 games since, 6 of them. So, pitching has really started to come on strong. Now the Brewers just have to figure out a way to score some more runs. Right. 2 solo home runs in last night's ball game, and that the pitching staff was able to have it hold up.
Now the Brewers have won back-to-back games, separated by the All-Star break. They won the final game of the series against the Diamondbacks. Gallardo's last start was against Arizona on July 11th. So they skipped him 1 spot in the rotation. He's pitching on his 9th day. So that allowed him to get a few extra days rest. And Ron Renicky, Rick Kranitz, they are hoping that this mid-season breather for Gallardo is going to help him have a big second half. Morrison without a hit in his career against Gallardo. He's 0 for 11. He's had an injury-plagued season as well. He's been battling back injuries. He had off-season knee surgery. Did not make it back to the active roster until the 2nd week of June.
And that was around the time that Milwaukee showed up in Miami. Talking to the folks around this ball club, saying that he's been made a big difference in this offense.
That one's on the corner, called strike 3. Morrison is rung up, and Gallardo a scoreless first inning. Negro League tribute night. Brewers coming up for the first time. they take on the Marlins. Game 2 of this series. Roenicke in his 3rd season as the Brewers skipper has a division title under his belt. That came back in 2011. His Piggly Wiggly batting order has Aoki, Segura, and Braun at the top. Lucroy, Gomez, and Francisco in the middle, with Weeks, Bianchi, and Gallardo rounding it out. Same 8 position players as we saw last night. And there is Nathan Eovaldi on the mound for the Fish.
Yeah, after starting the year on the disabled list, coming out of spring training with a right shoulder inflammation problem. He was on the 60-day DL. He made his first start on June 18th. You can see he's done pretty well. The young, hard-throwing right-hander, Nathan Eovaldi.
Eovaldi coming to the Marlins from the Dodgers, and Miami unloading about $60 million worth of payroll. Hanley Ramirez was the big ticket player that was sent to the Dodgers for Eovaldi. Take a look at some of his stuff from his last outing. This was against Washington on July 12th, and he went 6 innings, allowed just 3 runs and 5 strikeouts, and he picked up the win that day.
Yep, every one of his starts so far this year, all 5 quality starts, pitched at least 6 innings. So he is a young, hard thrower. He's got a good fastball. He'll throw a slider, cutter type pitch, and he's been throwing a lot of strikes.
Aoki leads the way for the Brewers again, hitting .292, an on-base percentage of .361 to start play today. They are closing the roof here at Miller Park, and obviously there is some thunderstorm activity around. That's too bad, because it feels great. Boy, finally the heat wave is over and temperatures dropping about 15 to 20 degrees. They say on the field last night it was hot and humid. Aoki bounces to third. Long throw, not in time. And it skips by. Aoki will head back to first base. And what likely will go as an infield hit for Norichika Aoki, and the Brewers have a base runner to start this one.
Yeah, getting down that line in very good shape is Aoki. The high chopper. Lucas able to grab it, but not able to get much on the throw. I think it would have been safe regardless. See Aoki making a turn. Good thing he got back in time, because I think if they made a tag on him, they might have called him out. And it will be a hit for the Milwaukee Bears.
I like that. The 1923 Milwaukee Bears of the original Negro National League. Here's Segura now. Segura coming off his first All-Star game, All-Star appearance in New York. Had a hit last night, had an infield single in his first trip to the plate. Segura is 5th in the league in batting. Starting play today. Yadier Molina is the league leader, hitting .340. Segura at .324.
The Brewers took some liberties on the bases last night, stealing 4 bags. Let's see if they stay aggressive with Eovaldi out on the mound. Eovaldi with that high leg kick, takes a while to get rid of it. But Jeff Mathis, ordinarily a pretty good throwing catcher. Not last night, though.
Yeah, the Brewers had 3 steals in the first inning. Segura had 2. Lucroy had 1. One of those a double steal, and then Ricky Weeks had the other stolen base for Milwaukee. 79 steals for the Brewers, the most in the major leagues. Jeff Mathis back behind the plate tonight.
He still has a throw percentage over 50%, 52% for Mathis, but before last night he was at 69%.
This is the first time Mathis has caught Eovaldi, veteran catcher who calls a great game. He doesn't hit much, but he's an excellent defensive catcher. Throws the ball well, blocks it well, game plans, and that's why Mike Redmond wants him out there with the young Eovaldi tonight. He caught Jacob Turner last night.
Of course, Eovaldi has done pretty well regardless of who's back there behind home plate. I mean, his number is excellent. 2-0, ERA under 3.
Eovaldi returned on the 18th of June. And in all 5 of his starts since coming back, he's gone at least 6 innings.
Hasn't given up more than 3 runs in any start.
It's quite a success story for Eovaldi. You know, you go on the disabled list with a shoulder injury and you end up being put on the 60-day DL. That usually means surgery. Eovaldi was able to change some of the ways that he goes about taking care of his shoulder. And he said he learned a lot. He has figured out how to best protect that throwing shoulder, how to manage the throwing arm in between starts, and who knows, he might be a much better pitcher because of it. He says he has no pain. He's throwing the ball where he wants it.
And he just threw that last one at 97 miles an hour.
And you would expect a hard-throwing fastball pitcher for a guy from Alvin, Texas, the hometown of Nolan Ryan. Segura to the right side, sneaks it through for a base hit. Just out of the reach of Dietrich. And Segura with a single, back-to-back hits at the top of the order, setting up Ryan Braun.
Yeah, stayed back nicely on a breaking ball. You know, first breaking pitch that Eovaldi's thrown, and he hung it up in his zone for Segura, who bangs it into right field. There's the approach that got him to the All-Star game right there, thinking up the middle. Able to hit it hard just out of the reach of Dietrich at second. That's a beautiful swing.
And that sets the stage for Braun. You see Segura uses right field about as well as anyone in the big leagues. 48 of his hits coming in that direction. And 2 on with nobody out for Braun. Oh for 3 last night. Braun playing in just his 2nd game since June 9th, coming back from the disabled list, and then a trip to the bereavement list for the family medical emergency right before the Diamondback series last week. So just as he was coming back, he played in just 1 game, got 3 at-bats on July 9th, and then his next at-bat didn't come until last night. That ball's hit well into center field. Ozuna turns and runs, can't get it. It's off the wall. Aoki will score. Segura right behind him. The throw comes in late. And a 2 RBI double for Ryan Braun. And the Brewers are on the board first tonight.
Ryan Braun hit that one right dead on the screws. Hit that one out there like a 1-iron. That ball had some carry on it, and four-seam fastball from Eovaldi right down the middle of the plate. Look at a nice swing by Brawny. And check out the route of Ozuna out in center field. Where is he going? Kind of a circuitous route. Not able to get there, and both Aoki and Segura able to score. Turned the wrong way. Wouldn't have had a chance at it anyway.
I think that has as much to do with how Braun hit that ball, how square he hit it. A lot of times, you know, a fly ball that is trending toward right center will have a little slice, but Braun, it almost had a hook on it.
A little draw.
Yeah, a little draw with that 1-iron. I like that. Just like Ben Hogan used to hit it.
Right.
Bangs it off the wall for a double, 2 runs in, and the Brewers with 3 hits to start this game. And here is Lucroy now, and he shoots one to right field, a base hit. Braun's going to hold up. Stanton has a big arm. And sensing a big inning here, Ed Cedar wisely holds up Braun. 4 consecutive hits to start the game.
Well, let's check out the Menards Marlins defense for tonight. And a few changes. We got the pitcher Nathan Eovaldi out there on the mound. Ed Lucas at third base. Now Ruggiano, Ozuna, and Stanton in the outfield. Hechavarria and Dietrich very solid up the middle, and Logan Morrison at first.
And they've been active early. 4 hits, 3 singles, and a double. First and third for Carlos Gomez. Gomez had a home run last night, one of 2 solo home runs hit by Milwaukee. He and Juan Francisco went deep last night. On the heels of his first all-star experience, Carlos Gomez. Well, Gomez is the club leader in home runs. That is Powerball home run number 15 last night. Brock, that was on an 0-2 pitch with 2 outs.
0-2 curveball that gave the Brewers a 2-0 lead. Juan Francisco with a solo shot. Well, not much offense, but just enough.
Shows bunt, pulls it back. Well, it looks like early Eovaldi is having trouble with his slider, and that has been his best pitch coming from those who have covered his 5 starts. Hasn't really been there for him early. 4 batters faced, 4 hits. First and third, nobody out. 2 runs are in. And Gomez looks at a strike on the outside corner at 97. Eovaldi is facing the Brewers for the 4th time in his career. 2nd time as a Marlin. His first 2 outings as a member of the Dodgers. And he strikes out Carlos Gomez. That was a good slider there. The first out for Eovaldi is a strikeout to the 5th batter he faces.
Yeah, Carlos been out in front a little bit since the All-Star break. Maybe a little bit too aggressive, trying too much. That pitch not even close to the strike zone.
So the first out. Runner still at the corners. And it'll be Juan Francisco. Francisco with 12 home runs, 32 driven in. Started his year with the Braves. Was designated for assignment by Atlanta, and then ultimately the Braves worked out a trade with the Brewers. Francisco now with 7 home runs as a Brewer, and this was his home run from last night, an opposite field Lowe's level shot.
Don't see many left-handers go up there. He didn't even get that baseball. That ball got back in on him a little bit. Didn't hit it quite on the sweet spot. Look how far it went.
I'm sure Lucroy is honored to get a throw to first. After a stolen base last night, his 3rd of the year.
He can go a little bit and surprise you once in a while. I don't see him going right now.
Especially with the left-handed hitter at the plate. I would imagine a base runner leading off first base. That's got to be a little bit intimidating with Juan Francisco at the plate.
Yeah, you're pretty close to that bat when he swings it. He can hit it hard. Imagine Logan Morrison's not all that comfortable over there at first either.
Eovaldi in the stretch. 1st and 3rd with 1 away, and a big swing and a miss.
96, 97 with a fastball for Eovaldi so far here in the 1st. Big arm. He just has to be able to throw that other stuff for strikes. 4-seamer.
Power on power. So it's 1-2 on Francisco. Now Eovaldi, in his 3 starts against Milwaukee, has never won. He's 0-3, but he's actually pitched fairly well against the Brewers throughout his career. He's never given up more than 2 earned runs in any of those 3 starts. His first start against the Brewers came in August of 11, which was just his 3rd ever major league start. And he took a loss against Zach Greinke that day. That was here at Miller Park. A pop up in the infield. Echeverria will make the catch. And there is out number 2, and the runners have to stay put at 1st and 3rd.
Yeah, this would be a big boost for the Marlins if Eovaldi's able to get out of this match. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Already 2 runs in and able to get the next 2 guys out.
Well, the Brewers have been dreadful this year with the situational hitting. Runners in scoring position, runner at third, less than 2 outs. That is one area that has frustrated Johnny Naran, the hitting coach, and Ron Roenicke to no end. A lot of big swings with 1 out, and especially with 2 strikes and 1 out. And we'll see if Weeks can pick them up here. Always a special day for Ricky Weeks. Only a player on the field who has a direct link to the Negro League days with his grandfather. Said his granddad used to tell stories about playing against the likes of Satchel Paige and Cool Papa Bell and Josh Gibson. I mean, what a front row seat to hear that kind of storytelling.
Some terrific players that never did get a chance to get to the big leagues. A lot of them. They say there wasn't a better catcher as far as defense or hitting, power hitting than Josh Gibson.
Yeah, Josh Gibson, Cool Papa Bell, Satchel Paige, those were the cornerstone players of the second round of the Negro Leagues. The first round disbanded, and then the most popular version of the Negro National League was the one that began in 1933, and it lasted until 48. Of course, the color barrier was broken by Jackie Robinson in 47. There was a lot of discussion. If you watch the movie 42, there was a nice scene that recognized that fact, that Satchel Paige should be the first player to break the color barrier, but he was already in his 40s at the time, and Branch Rickey, after a long exhaustive search, settled on Jackie Robinson, who was teammates with Satchel Paige in Kansas City with the Monarchs, and the rest is history. Satchel Paige did end up in the major leagues in 48. The oldest rookie ever in Major League Baseball. He was 42 when he made his major league debut with the Browns. Eovaldi bringing the heat tonight. He's got a lot of pitches in this first inning. This is number 28. 17 have been over 95 as Weeks pops this one up. That'll be out of play.
Yeah, the pitch before that was 98 miles an hour. He's got a big arm, but he's been hanging a lot of breaking pitches.
Well, the Brewers with 2 on the board. Weeks would love to add to it here. It would probably feel like a small victory for Eovaldi if he gets through this inning, having just allowed 2 runs. Full count, 2 outs. Lucroy will take off with the pitch. And Weeks draws the walk. Oh, what an at-bat by Ricky Weeks, and the bases are loaded now for Bianchi.
It's kind of an inning, the first inning, with a lot of pitches like this really wears a guy out before you really get loosened up and get good and loose, and a lot of wear on that arm when you have a high pitch count in the 30s in the first inning.
Chuck Hernandez, the Marlins pitching coach, maybe if for no other reason than to give Eovaldi a breather here, as he's sitting on 29 pitches in this first inning.
And missing for the most part with a fastball.
Eighth batter of the inning. Gallardo is on deck. Jeff Bianchi. And if Eovaldi just tries to lay one in for strike one, Bianchi, he'll be ready to swing. He loves that first pitch. And he swings and fouls it back. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Boy, Eovaldi is bringing it early tonight. And it looks easy, too.
Well, he needs it right now. I mean, this is a very pivotal batter for Eovaldi. The Brewers can really open this one up in the first inning.
Bianchi fouls it away. That was the slider. And it's quickly 0-2 on Jeff Bianchi. Bianchi started at third last night, had a hit. He was 1 for 4. Made a terrific defensive play as well, robbing Giancarlo Stanton of extra bases. Continues to get the starts at third for Ramos Ramirez. And that one's on the outside corner, a called strike 3, and Eovaldi pitches out of it. The Brewers get 2, however. The first 4 batters reach. Ryan Braun drives him in with a 2 RBI double.
The Milwaukee Bears today to a 2-0 lead here in the top of the second inning. Yovani Gallardo is trying to bounce back from a rough first half of the season, and I had a chance to ask Ron Roenicke, how important is it for Yovani to get off to a good start in his first start in the second half of this season?
The consistency has been the tough part with the first half. He's had a couple games where he come out and he's threw the ball great, and then all of a sudden, he'd have a bad one or two. But I think last one he threw was good, liked his stuff, and so I'm hoping he comes out and this, like you said, the second half, hopefully we have that consistent guy again.
Yovani Gallardo once again trying to get off to a good start to end the second half of this season, but what Ron Roenicke was referring to was the fact that in Yovani's last start in Phoenix, he was able to come out and show flashes of what we've grown accustomed to seeing from Yovani, but he just want to see it on a more consistent basis. Yovani walked away with a no decision after 6 innings in his last start, B.A.
All right, Telly, thanks. As he retires the first batter, Ozuna. And Rock, I thought Gallardo in that start against the Diamondbacks had his best curveball to date, and he was starting to look like his old self. His fastball was in the 92, 93 mile-an-hour range. He was spotting his fastball well. He had a great curveball going that night. Diamondbacks are a very good hitting ball club. Gallardo ended up allowing 3 runs in those 6 innings.
He had 2 over the minimum through the first 4 innings. Then he gave up a 2 spot in the 5th. 3 hits. But you're right. I mean, everything was working for him there throughout that start. No decision, and the Brewers lost. The curveball has been much better in his last handful of starts. He's actually been able to increase his velocity a bit. Curveball's been much better, sharper breaking. He's able to throw it for strikes early in the count.
Derek Dietrich into center field, and Gomez will have to play that one on a hop. So the first hit for the Marlins. Their second baseman Dietrich singles to right center.
Yep, come out to Miller Park as the Brewers host the San Diego Padres in a 4-game set this Monday through Thursday. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com.
A 4-game series and a matinee on Thursday against San Diego. Always fun during the work week to play a little hooky, spend some time at the ballpark. Here's Ruggiano now with 1 out and a runner at first. Ruggiano is mired in a long slump at the plate. By the way, that hit by Dietrich snapped it 0 for 20. Ruggiano is 1 for his last 35 at the plate. Mike Redmond just trying to juggle the lineup a little bit to get some runners on base in front of Stanton and Morrison.
And he did that yesterday. He gave Polanco a start. He gave Dobbs a start to try and get something going, right after the All-Star break. That didn't work. They got shut out again. Marlins have been shut out 10 times this year. That's second most the Atlanta Braves. That's a surprise. The Braves 11 shutouts against them this year.
Most of those came early for the Marlins. Their offense got put back together a little bit with Stanton returning, and then Morrison, although Morrison's been in and out of the lineup. Until that shutout last night, the Marlins as an offense had not been shut out since the 22nd of May when Cliff Lee shut them out. The Phillies beat the Marlins 3rd week of May. There's a swing and a miss on a good hook by Gallardo. That's his signature pitch, and when he has that going, look out.
He's got 2 different curveballs. The put-away curveball, which he just threw to Ruggiano, the head and shoulders whiff. The curveball for Gallardo, his second strikeout. You got Morrison looking, and a good curveball to get Ruggiano. There's the old Uncle Charlie. That sent a lot of guys home.
It's a great look at how tight that spin is for Gallardo. So 2 outs with a runner at first base, and here is Jeff Mathis. Brewers look like their starting rotation is going to be set for a while now. Starting the second half with Loesch, and then Gallardo. Peralta goes tomorrow. Now a left-hander of the starting rotation, Tom Gorzelani, and then Donovan Hand. Gorzelani and Hand will pitch the first 2 games of that Padres series. Loesch with 6 shutout last night.
Yeah, how good has Willie Peralta been over his last 3 starts? He's allowed only 1 run.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing him tomorrow against the Marlins. He's had a couple of great starts against Miami in his career. One last year, and then of course earlier this season he was fantastic.
Yeah, 1 earned run in his last 21 and a third innings for Willie Peralta.
So he'll get the afternoon game tomorrow, the finale of the series. Stability in the starting rotation. Every manager wants it, but the Brewers have not been able to get it because of inconsistent performances, lack of success,
injuries. Yeah. Brewers showed good patience with Willie Peralta throughout the first half and finally reaping the benefits.
Two balls and a strike on Mathis. Hitting just 200 this year. That was a pretty close pitch from Gallardo.
And maybe a little bit low. Fox Tracks had it right at the lower edge of the strike zone.
Mathis on the ground to Segura. He goes to second for the out. 2 scoreless for Gallardo. And now 11 scoreless for Brewer pitching in this series. 2 RBI double in the first inning. Gallardo with 2 scoreless innings and now ready to do what he loves to do the most, swing the bat. And the last time Gallardo was in a game here at Miller Park, he delivered with a couple of hits on July 6th against the Mets. That was a victory for Gallardo. Had 2 hits, he went 6 innings and won his 7th game of the year. He's 7-8, ERA at 4.83. He's hoping for a bounce back second half. There's no doubt he can swing the bat though. 270 batting average this year. Has a couple of home runs. Gallardo has 2 doubles to go along with his 2 home runs. And he leads the Brewer pitching staff in hits, which has some nice parting prizes at the end of the year if you can win that pool.
Bragging rights. I'd imagine they have a little something going on. Yeah, most teams do. A little friendly wager, perhaps.
Somebody carrying somebody's suitcase.
Maybe. Paying their clubhouse dues at the end of the year, perhaps.
Charter high-speed pitch. You see the velocities of the 2 starters. Eovaldi hitting 98, but 32 pitches in the first inning.
They're going to have to get the bat head out early against Eovaldi. This guy's got an impressive fastball. He's able to come up with a breaking pitch. This guy could be tough.
Marlins are very high on their young pitching. Jose Fernandez, their 20-year-old all-star. He throws a fastball in the upper 90s. Gallardo bounces one to third base. Ed Lucas will make the play for out number 1.
It turned on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Good job by Yo.
Top of the order now. Here comes Aoki. Singled and scored in the first. Brewers let an opportunity go by in that first inning. They had 2 in, nobody out, and runners at the corners, and Eovaldi pitched out of it. Even though he loaded the bases with 2 outs, he was able to pick up a couple of strikeouts. And the Brewers left 3 in the first inning. As Aoki lines one to right, but right at Stanton for out number 2. And that'll bring up Gene Segura. Segura's on our Powerball home run leaderboard. Gomez, the club leader. Francisco hit number 12 last night. Gomez number 15 last night. And then Segura has 11 for the year.
It just amazes me looking at that leaderboard. Going into spring training, did you ever think it would look like that?
No Braun, no Ramirez.
In the second half, yeah.
No Corey Hart. Had a tough year on the power front. Brewers are still up there in the top 5 in the league in home runs, but they're without major production in their batting order. Glad to get Braun back. I tell you, he is such a presence in the lineup. Kyle Loesch said it best last night. Even though Braun was 0 for 3 last night, the threat of Ryan Braun changes everything for an opposing pitcher.
Right, and the way he pits everybody in front of him and behind him.
And you know, one guy who's glad to have him back is Gene Segura.
Same thing you could say about Aramis Ramirez. He's been out quite a bit. Big stretch of games without Braun, Ramirez in the lineup. That makes it tough.
Bouncing ball back to the mound, and Eovaldi, after a 32-pitch first inning, comes back with a quick one in the second. Brewers go in order. Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Well, it was a bright sunny day with the roof open until just after we started this one today. They closed the roof. They're hoping to open it back up if these thunderstorms move on. Hoping that's the case. We can see some sunshine out there out to the east.
But some clouds all around, so something must be going on out there. They wouldn't have closed it.
Gallardo back to work. 2 scoreless for Giovanni. Has a couple of strikeouts. He's given up a hit and has issued a walk. His mound opponent Eovaldi leads off in his 3rd inning. Brewers winning 2-0 last night. Actually, the Marlins out hit the Brewers last night 6-5. But the Brewers had 2 solo home runs. And coming up with yet another shutout. Last team in the big leagues to post a shutout from a pitching perspective. And now they have a major league leading 6 in the last 29 games.
It's something else, isn't it?
That's the way it goes.
Pitching's starting to come around quite a bit as of late.
There's a strike called. Eovaldi is rung up.
Came all the way back down 3-0. Eovaldi never took the bat off his shoulder.
And Giovanni will go back to the top of the order now, and Adeiny Hechavarria. Hey, think about this. The last time the Brewers faced the Marlins, they had yet to throw a shutout. Gallardo had a chance at one. He went 8 scoreless innings against the Marlins. Marlins got a 9th inning run. The Brewers won that game 6-1. Gallardo beat Ricky Nolasco that night. And then it was Gallardo again against Cincinnati that started the shutout run, posting the first shutout of the season for the Brewers when Giovanni went 6 shutout innings en route to a victory over Homer Bailey back on June 15th. But his best outing of the year was against these Marlins on June 10th. Bouncing ball through for a base hit. And Hechavarria just continues to get his hits. That's his 4th hit of the series.
And every one to right field. And no surprise why he's been able to get that batting average up, staying on the baseball, and threads the needle between Francisco and Weeks. So good speed at first base for Florida, or I should say Miami.
That's going to cost you.
That's a nickel.
Go to the wallet.
In the bucket.
The 1956 Miami Marlins tonight of the AAA International League. Wearing their Satchel Paige patch. Story goes that year in '56 that Bill Veeck, the owner, he wanted Satchel Paige on his team, on that team. And the manager of that club didn't want the 50-year-old Satchel Paige. He wanted to win games. You know, he was trying to get to the big leagues as a manager. So Bill Veeck said, "You line up your best 9 hitters, hit them any order you want, and they'll face Satchel Paige in an exhibition, and we'll see where it goes." He retired 9 in a row. And a double play to send us to the bottom of the 3rd. Gallardo gives up a 1-out single, wipes it out with a 5-4-3 double play. And Ryan Braun will lead off when we come back. He's driven in a pair tonight already. 2-0 Brewers.
third, and the Brewers bullpen pitched 3 scoreless innings last night to get Kyle Lohse the win. They've been tremendous all season long, so we'll take a look at our AT&T Twitter poll asking Brewers fans which reliever has been the most consistent. Fans can tweet us at FS Wisconsin. With John Axford unscored upon 29 of his last 30. Jim Henderson, 10 saves for him. Michael Gonzalez, and of course K-Rod, 10 saves, 300 and counting. He's also been terrific. And BA, what's been remarkable is they've all had different roles so far this season, but they've performed in each one.
And all 4 of those guys with closers experience. Right now it's K-Rod who's getting the save opportunities for Milwaukee. And all 4 of those guys you're hearing a lot of trade rumors about. There are a number of scouts from contending teams following the Brewers. Those teams in desperate need of bullpen help are certainly paying close attention to what is happening here with the Brewers pen. Ryan Braun strikes out Eovaldi with a good fastball to strike him out, first out of the inning. And it looks like the young Eovaldi has settled down somewhat. Hey, don't forget, Fox Sports 1 is coming fast. August 17th is the debut. America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1. It'll be your home for great live sports, all the news and highlights you want, shows and specials that only Fox can bring you. The One, debuting August 17th. Here's Lucroy now with 1 away. 3rd strikeout for Eovaldi.
And that last pitch to Braun had some tilt to it, and a little bit of a sink to it, and got Braun down and in. And just such a loosey-goosey delivery. Throws a lot of his arm, not much of a stride, and just kind of whips that ball from behind his back, and it just explodes out of his hand.
Lucroy into right field. Back is Stanton at the track, at the wall, and it goes off his glove and out of the ballpark. That's a home run for Lucroy. How about that? Jonathan Lucroy with a gift home run from Giancarlo Stanton. Thank you very much.
Hey, you're going to see that in the blooper reels from now on. Yeah, if he didn't get his glove on it, it wasn't going to be a home run. He got it in the glove. The glove went over the fence, and the ball trickled out. Lucroy gives this one a pretty good ride to the opposite field. Goes off the heel of the glove and over the fence. So a home run assisted by Giancarlo Stanton. He's 6'6". And he went up and knocked it out of the ballpark.
The ultimate offensive rebound. Gave Lucroy the carry that he needed. He'll take it. That is Lucroy's 14th home run of the year.
Actually jumped too far. Check it out. Heel of the glove and trickles over the wall. Wow.
What a break. That's when you know you're going good, and Lucroy certainly is.
Yeah.
3-0 Milwaukee. Gomez trying to bunt his way on.
And being 6'6", not many guys are going to be able to get back there that quickly and leap that high to assist that ball over the fence.
Well, I asked Lucroy on the last road trip after that home run he hit against the Diamondbacks, which was measured at 445 feet, if that was the longest home run he's ever hit. He said he didn't know. He didn't think so, but he's not sure. He was very coy about it. I can guarantee you that is the shortest home run he's ever hit. Lucroy has been on a home run binge lately. Second on the club in home runs.
And he's got his batting average over 280. 281 after that at bat. 2 for 2 today.
Gomez in a 3-2 count, and he takes ball 4. Good at bat by Gomez. Doesn't chase this time. And a base runner with 1 out. Let's check our carsoup.com email the booth question tonight from Marie in West Bend. Do you have a favorite team or player from the Negro Leagues? I love the legend of the stories. By the way, just to finish the Satchel Paige story, he's my favorite guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he retired all 9 guys and he made the team, and then he won 11 games.
I would have figured.
So that double play kind of interrupted the story, unfortunately. I know you were waiting to hear that. There's a bouncer to short. And this is going to turn into a double play to end the Brewers' 3rd inning. But Jonathan Lucroy gets a gift from Giancarlo Stanton. Lucroy homers again, number 14 for the year, and it's 3-0 Brewers. During the regular season, a $1 donation will be made to the RBI program. And Major League Baseball fans and local RBI leagues can also take part in the Season of the Whiff on Twitter all season long. You can help earn money for your local RBI program. Basically, when a pitcher from the Brewers strikes out an opposing batter, just tweet the hashtag whiff to @Brewers in order for the tweet to count. So $10,000 donation at stake every month. $80,000 available throughout the year. Roof starting to open up. Gallardo back to work now with a 3-0 lead after Stanton's assist to Jonathan Lucroy. Wonder if Lucroy had anything to say to Stanton as he came to the plate a moment ago. That ball's hit center field. Back is Gomez, and he's there to make the play for the out.
Hey, fans, enroll in a world-class experience this summer as Quick Trip presents the inaugural year of the Brewers Baseball Academy. These instructional kid camps are coming to a city near you. Visit brewers.com/camps today. Kids ages 6 to 14 eligible for the instructional camps.
Saw a bunch of kids on the field earlier today. Had a little camp going at Miller Park. Great success. And many of them have stuck around tonight to watch this one. Logan Morrison batting with 1 out. Gallardo with 3 strikeouts thus far. He struck out Morrison in the first. And a big swing and a miss to get him to a 1-1 count. Bouncing ball with a shift on. The only infielder on that side is Bianchi, and he makes a play for out number 2. Morrison doesn't hit ground balls over to that direction very often.
No, that's why you have your third baseman off the line. Segura shaded up the middle, and Gallardo continues his mastery over Logan Morrison. Now 0 for 13 against Gallardo.
And 2 outs for Marcell Ozuna. Another one of the young Marlins that wasn't expected in the big leagues this year, at least not until maybe September. But the injury to Stanton forced Ozuna to the big leagues. He had a nice spring for him, and Marlins wanted to give him a shot, and he had a great run in the month that Stanton was on the disabled list. He was playing right field.
Man, he was doing better offensively as a right fielder. They moved him to center when the Brewers got to town. That was the time when Stanton came back from the DL. Some kind of arm. Good throwing arm. Covers a lot of ground.
Now Ozuna has 8 outfield assists. Matter of fact, he is 3rd in the National League in outfield assists. It's behind Carlos Gonzalez and Gerardo Parra. Rookie center fielder now. He was an A-ball this time last year, Ozuna. Had played in just 10 games above single A before his promotion. Slow roller to third, but Yankee coming in. Got to hurry the throw, and it is just in time. Ozuna is out. Nice play by Bianchi. Well, he has shown a good glove in this series so far, and Gallardo with a 1, 2, 3, 4th inning. And the Marlins, and it is a Negro League tribute night tonight here at Miller Park. Brewers decked out in their 1923 Milwaukee Bears uniforms. The 8th annual Negro League tribute night. Ricky Weeks leading the way. The Brewers with 3 on the board. Got 2 in the first on a Ryan Braun 2 RBI double, and then Lucroy homered last inning. Weeks had a walk his first time up. Homered against Eovaldi last season in his lone start against the Brewers as a Marlin. Take you back. It was a start on September 5th of last year. Eovaldi just coming over to the Marlins from the Dodgers, and Ricky Weeks hit one to the back wall of the Clevelander, which is the in-stadium nightclub.
Quick hands, and Ricky able to get the bat head out and knock that one out of there to left field. Not easy to do against Eovaldi. You have to have the count in your favor, which he does again. 3-1.
Weeks into center field. That ball's way back. Ozuna looking up, and it's gone. Ricky Weeks with a home run. Number 10 for Weeks. And the Brewers have a 4-0 lead.
That similar location as the one he hit out last year. Up in the zone. Had the count in his favor. 3-1. Looking fastball. Got it and didn't miss it. Doesn't matter how hard you throw. You're down in the count 2-0, 3-1. Hitters are going to get you. That pitch up in the zone. Upper 90s. And Ricky able to get on top of it and knock it out of here off the batter's eye in center field.
First home run for Weeks since July 1st when he homered against Jordan Zimmerman in Washington, D.C. And now in double digits. 10 homers, 22 runs batted in. His second career home run against Eovaldi.
Such a quick bat.
Yeah, not a lot of guys get to that kind of fastball in that part of the plate as Bianchi goes down the left field line. That's going to be cut off just in front of the wall, and it's going to be a double for Bianchi. Brewers are getting their hits tonight.
I've got a breaking pitch, and this time Bianchi able to center on it and knock it down the line and left. Punched down on the breaking pitch his first time up. There it is, right down the middle. That's what we're talking about, the inconsistency of the breaking ball from Eovaldi. Right down the middle, up in the zone, and Bianchi with a double down the line.
Back-to-back hits to start this fourth inning. And here is Gallardo. Marlins expecting a bunt. Gallardo squares early. And he gets a bunt down. It's a good one. It will advance Bianchi in the throw. Handcuffs Dietrich. He does recover in time to make the play. Eovaldi threw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball over there to a guy without a catcher's mitt.
Right. His second baseman's glove, the smallest glove on the field. And check this out. Looks at third and then throws a rocket over to first.
Oh,
handcuffs the second baseman, but he's able to recover. I'll tell you, that's going to hurt.
I'm telling you, that hit him
right in the palm.
That has to just sting. Yeah, and there's no glove on that part of the hand either. So a sacrifice bunt for Gallardo. He advances Bianchi to third, and now we go back to the top of the order. Marlins bring their infield in. Aoki reached on an infield hit in the first, and then he lined out his next time up. And a couple of more hits, and you could see Mike Redmond getting some activity in the Marlins bullpen. It's been a shaky start for Eovaldi tonight. 4 runs on 7 hits.
That season high in runs for Eovaldi this year.
This is his 6th start of the season. Spent the first 2 months on the DL with a shoulder injury. Most hits he's allowed in a game since he has come back. He's allowed 5 hits or fewer in all 5 of his previous starts. 7 tonight. 2 home runs and a couple of doubles. And Aoki into center field, a base hit. That'll bring in a run. Bianchi scores, and Aoki with an RBI makes it 5-0 Brewers.
Well, had a 2-0 count. He got a fastball down the middle and didn't waste it. Nice quick bat again, 96 miles an hour, but a hitter's count. Aoki able to spank it into center field for an RBI. Get the count in your favor up at the plate. It really doesn't matter how hard you're throwing. If you know it's coming, you can get a bat on it.
Still just 1 out. Aoki now at first for Segura, with Braun waiting to hit next. And that Marlins bullpen does fire into action here in the 4th inning. 3 hits in the inning. The only out, a sac bunt by Gallardo. Segura had a good cut.
Eovaldi just doesn't have much to keep the Brewers off that fastball. I mean, the slider is 87, 88, which is pretty good velocity for a breaking pitch. And you got the big fastball, but really no changeup or curveball to keep you honest, to slow your bat down at all.
So Kevin Slowey, former Twin in the Marlins bullpen. You just wonder what the first inning took out of Eovaldi. A 32-pitch first inning. First 4 batters reached on a hit. And then bounced back. Eovaldi had a 3-up 3-down second. Gave up the home run to Lucroy in the 3rd. Just could have as easily been caught by Stanton. Hit his glove and then bounced up and over the wall. But 2 runs in here in the 4th. And that ball's hit hard. Segura pulls one into left, a base hit. He's 2 out of 3 tonight. And the Brewers with 2 on and just 1 out, and Braun coming up.
Yep, tried to come inside on the 0-2 count. He got the fastball out over the plate, and Segura with the quick hands able to shoot it into left field. Too good of a pitch on 0-2. Had him shaded up the middle.
That's one way to paint the spray chart,
right,
in a different direction.
And with 2 strikes, ordinarily Segura is thinking up the middle, particularly with a guy throwing that hard. He got one he liked and able to pull it into left. And you got to figure the end's coming very close now for Eovaldi.
Yeah, Braun would love to deliver the knockout punch. One gone in the 4th. Braun struck out in the 3rd inning, but he ripped a double off the center field fence in the 1st inning, drove in 2 runs. Aoki and Segura on base, combining for 4 hits tonight already in 6 at-bats. Braun chased the breaking ball. See, Ryan with that right thumb injury has a protective wrap on the bat, and just where the right thumb digs into the bat, there's a little extra layer of padding, and Ryan's not real comfortable with that. He said it really changes how the bat feels in his hands, but it's something he has to do right now.
Yeah, something to protect that thumb.
Takes a little bit of the shock away with that wrap. It's kind of a wrap you would see on an aluminum bat. You don't see that very often on wooden bats in the big leagues, but there's been a couple of guys who have done it. Lucroy has a similar wrap on his bat, as does Gomez. So Braun decided to give it a shot.
Something as subtle as that makes a big difference in the way you feel up at the plate. Just don't have that same feel, that batting glove to wood. But yeah, Ryan just trying to get through the season. You wouldn't think that would make much of a difference, but it does.
It is amazing how big league hitters, just by feel, can tell you whether a bat's a few ounces off or not. As Braun strikes out, that was a good breaking ball from Eovaldi. Looks like he's gone to the curveball against Braun the last 2 at bats, and now 2 outs in the inning. Well, famed car customizer Ryan Friedlinghaus and his crew at West Coast Customs continue to take common vehicles from ordinary to extraordinary. West Coast Customs, each episode brings viewers inside one of the most dynamic car shops in the world. There's a new episode coming up Sunday. 2 gone for Lucroy. 2 for 2 tonight. Lucroy now has 6 home runs in his last 9 games. Had a stretch of home runs where he hit 3 in 3 nights. He's been on a home run binge lately. but none like the gift he got in the third inning. And that is in our AT&T U-verse rewind. One out, third inning. Lucroy hits it hard to deep right, and Stan, who almost made a great catch, ends up helping push that baseball over the fence.
Hey, he'll take it. You betcha.
That ball's hit deep into left center field. Lucroy sends one hop up and out. That'll be a ground rule double. And that'll actually cost the Brewers one run. Aoki does score. They're going to send Segura back to third base. And Jonathan Lucroy is 3 for 3 and now a triple away from the cycle.
Well, he just locked in. I mean, the All-Star break didn't affect him at all. Four-seam fastball, middle in, gets good extension on it. Didn't really get it on the sweet spot, or it would have been out of the ballpark. Ozuna did not get a very good jump. Didn't even come close, and one hops over the fence. Well, Lucroy just locked in. That batting average continues to climb. Now at 284.
Six nothing Brewers. Lucroy is driven in a pair. Yeah, Gomez takes a strike.
He's raised his batting average, what, 80 points?
Yeah, 208 is where he bottomed out. It wasn't that long ago, 43 games.
I mean, he has been swinging the bat well.
Take it back. So 46 games, Rock. 46 games. He's gone from 208 to 284.
Yeah, that's something else.
And 11 home runs during that stretch. And in those 46 games, he's driven in 37 runs. Well, now we'll get a chance to see if Lucroy can find a triple out there somewhere to hit for the cycle. It's been done for him. Last Brewer to hit for the cycle, George Kataris, September of 2011. As Gomez strikes out and the inning ends, but the Brewers score 3. Ricky Weeks got it started in a booming home run to center field. Number 10 of the year for Weeks. RBIs from Aoki and Lucroy, and it's 6-0 Crew.
To up the Brewers lead to 6-0 over the Marlins. Let's take a look at our Brewers minor league report. Wisconsin Timber Rattlers Michael Reed went 2 for 4 last night with a double at Bowling Green to up his average to 298 for the season with a home run, 30 RBIs, and his 21 stolen bases. Leads the team, as does his average, BA.
He's having a great year, isn't he? 21 steals, bringing the speed aspect to the Timber Rattlers. They play about an hour and a half from here. Beautiful ballpark if you ever have a chance to drive up north. That foul ball went right by Telly or off Telly. You all right down there?
He's hiding behind Woody.
I think he's going to be okay. I hit Woody. Woody throwing that $100,000 camera in front of the high-priced sideline reporter. Well done, Woodrow. Woody's seen a few in his day.
Yeah.
He knows just when to turn away.
Doesn't faze him at all.
0-2 the count to Dietrich. And that one's in there. A called strike 3. Dietrich is rung up, and Gallardo looks like he's in the rocking chair right now.
Yeah, Cutter able to get him that time. Dietrich's caught looking. And tonight's time of the game winner is hook, line, and sinker in Hartford. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, the hook, line, and sinker in Hartford gets 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Here's Justin Ruggiano, a strikeout victim in the second inning. Gallardo has 4 Ks. He got Ruggiano on a big curveball. And in an 0-2 count, pretty good odds he's going to see another one. That was the slider from Gallardo, and the count a ball and 2 strikes. Ruggiano didn't bite. Giovanni had a long first inning, 25 pitches. Interesting that he faced just 4 batters. 10 of those pitches came to the leadoff hitter Echeverria. But he's been pretty economical since. 1-2 pitch. Ruggiano takes a called strike 3. Gallardo rings the bell again. And Ruggiano's barking at Larry Vanover on his way out.
They got to be hacking. 2 strikes, anything close. 4-seam fastball from Yo. Right on the outside corner. Right at the knees. And well, you can't walk it across any better than that.
Pitching with a 6-0 lead. Gallardo has now retired 6 in a row. He had the double play ball in the 3rd inning. Marlins with just 2 hits tonight, both singles. Gallardo with 5 strikeouts and only 1 walk, and he's got a chance to strike out the side here in the 5th. Bouncing ball to short. And the Marlins catcher Mathis retired. Gallardo cruising along now. Back-to-back 3 up, 3 down innings. Bottom of the 5th coming up. 6-0 Crew.
Fans, let's congratulate Becca
honored before today's game. I have Lonnie Harris, Lonnie Showboat Harris, and Mr. George JoJo Altman. And Mr. Altman, I'll start off with you. How is it to see that the Major League still pay homage to the Negro Leagues and not forget about what you guys did back then?
Well, I tell you what, it's a great thrill for me to be here today and to appreciate what the Milwaukee Brewers are doing in honor of the Negro Leagues. We had a lot of players, great players, that didn't get an opportunity to play Major League Baseball, and we appreciate the Major League honoring them and giving them credit for things that they did in the past. And as players that played in the Negro Leagues and moved on to the Major Leagues, we realized that how important it was that those players played well and that the Major League recognized their talents.
Well, I'm going to bring in Mr. Lonnie Showboat Harris, who is 83 years young, and I walked up here and he's doing push-ups and just showboating, right?
I did 80.
You did 80. Well, I'll ask you the same question.
Did I do 80, guys?
Well, he has witnesses that he did 80 push-ups, but I'll ask you the same question. How good does it feel to have Major League Baseball recognize what the Negro Leagues was all about?
Oh, it's just marvelous, really. You know, I'm just taken away by the fact that you guys here are giving us recognition. And the fact that I am participating in this with this gentleman here is an honor, just being in his presence. But other than that, I'm taken away. And with respect and congratulations to the city of Milwaukee to honor me and accept me into the Hall of Fame.
Well, we appreciate your time, and it's an honor for you guys to come here to Milwaukee on Negro Leagues Tribute Night, B.A.
All right, Telly, you know what you have to do now?
I'm not doing any push-ups.
You got to drop and give me 80.
No.
Showboat gave you 80. You got to give him 80.
There's no video proof of it, so it's all good.
Telly ran in the 5K this morning, too. He's had a very...
he knew where you were going. He knew you were going to tell him about push-ups.
It's great to have those guys. You know, George Altman, he was a terrific player. He did get a chance to play in the big leagues. Matter of fact, he made a couple of all-star teams. And it was great hearing from those guys before the game. Special night. And our honor to continue to bring the Negro Leagues and the legacy that they left back into the limelight once again. Such a rich part of our baseball history.
If you're ever in Kansas City, you got to check out that Negro Leagues Museum. It is something that you have to see.
Got some changes here. Pierre takes over in left field for the Marlins for Ruggiano. And the new pitcher is Kevin Slowey, a former starter with the Marlins, taken out of the rotation once Eovaldi came back, and he's the guy who comes in for him out of the bullpen here tonight.
And made 14 starts, was 1-6, but has been much better out of the bullpen. 4 relief appearances. He's 2-0.
Ricky Weeks with 1 out, and he fouls that one back. Count remains at 2-2. Let's take you back to Ricky's home run in the 4th. It's in our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game.
A 3-1 pitch. Ricky Weeks able to knock it out of here to center field. One of 2 that Eovaldi gave up. 4 innings, 10 hits, 6 runs. All season highs for Eovaldi tonight.
Yeah, we do have video proof. I don't know about 80, but either way, he's 80 years old, so whatever.
Hey, if I'm 80 and I can do 1 push-up, that's 1 more than I can do now.
Well, he's 83 to be exact.
83.
And like I said, he had a crowd around him, and I was wondering what was going on when I got up there. And sure enough, it's Mr. Showboat Harris doing push-ups.
Yeah, I can't imagine why they called him Showboat.
Exactly.
That's good stuff. Great to have those guys. See if that'll stay playable. Morrison is there, and there is out number 2 for Slowey. Brewers in their 1923 Bears uniforms. Their only year in the Negro Leagues that year, the Milwaukee Bears. Players always have a little internal contest on who looks the best in the throwback uniforms. And usually Ed Cedar is the winner. He's about as throwback as it gets. Brewers third base coach. I mean, there's a guy right at home in a 1923 jersey.
And running a close second is Rick Kranitz.
Yes, indeed.
From head to toe, Ed Cedar.
He's been busy over at third base tonight. As Bianchi strikes out, Sloy with a quick 1-2-3 inning.
Fans, time to cheer on the Braves.
Their 15th annual 5K Sausage Run Walk. Over 4,000 participants were on the course this morning around Miller Park. Actually, the course took the runners and walkers on the warning track through Miller Park and outside. And I'm proud to say that I brought home the trophy. I was actually the winner in the media division. I was able to participate. And so what, there are only 3 runners in the media division, BA and Rock, but I was the one who was first, followed by Joe Block, and third, the team photographer, Scott Paulus. So it was a lot of fun this morning, and it was definitely for a good cause.
All right, Telly, thank you. Sounds like you've been spending a little time with Showboat Harris. Telly dropping some first place knowledge.
Yeah,
on us.
that's good. Good for him.
Juan Pierre leading off, came in on the double switch. Segura bobbles, and Pierre is going to beat it out.
Guy always seems to be able to get on base, doesn't he, Juan Pierre?
It's going to be an infield hit for him.
Yeah. Hey, Sunday, August 4th, the Brewers take on the Nationals at 1:10 p.m. and all fans in attendance get a Harvey Keene bobblehead. Compliments of Capco metal stamping. Visit Brewers.com for tickets.
By the way, speaking of the 5K this morning, I want to congratulate Mike Vasallo. He finished second in the 5K among the Brewers media relations department.
Yeah.
So a significant finish for Mike Vasallo.
You know who was first, though? John Steinmiller.
I'm guessing Steinmiller.
Yeah.
He's quite the runner.
And for Mike's trouble, he came into our booth today and pounded a giant cream puff.
Right, a giant, big dessert.
So he broke even today.
He finished second among the 2 entrants of the media relations department. And that's exactly how he said it. He came in, he goes, I finished second.
Yep, so I can eat this cream puff.
And he crushed it.
He did. Never had a chance.
Great fun. Joe Crawford got us started this morning with the 5K. Had his family out there with him. That's something that Rock and I have both done before. It's always a lot of fun.
People have a blast out there.
Takes you in through the stadium. Marlins at the top of their order have a leadoff base runner for the first time tonight. Juan Pierre coming up to the end of his career, back with the Marlins.
And still could run a little bit.
There's a bouncer to third, but Yankee going to go to second. They get the out there just in time to get Pierre, and the lead runner wiped out. Fielder's choice for Echeverria.
I'm not sure if they had to play it first. I mean, Echeverria gets down the line pretty well. That would have been a long throw. So the Yankee goes to second and gets the lead runner, but Pierre gets down that line pretty good.
And Weeks wisely hangs on to the baseball. Gallardo's pitch count at 79, and when you consider a 25 pitch first inning, he's done a good job managing that pitch count. Ed Lucas with one away. Bounced into a double play his last time up. Great to see the roof back open. It's a beautiful night here.
It cooled off, didn't it?
Feels great.
Humidity's gone and nice and pleasant out here at the ballpark tonight.
Low 70s. After a heat wave moved through here last week, ending yesterday. Gallardo facing Lucas, looking for a ground ball, and it goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Brewers have a couple of home runs tonight. They hit 2 yesterday. Gomez and Francisco last night, and tonight Jonathan Lucroy in the 3rd inning, and then Ricky Weeks homered in the 4th. Braun drove in 2 in the 1st. Got RBIs on hits from Aoki and a Lucroy double. Six runs on 10 hits against Nathan Eovaldi.
And missed with a curveball. Tried to snap it off a little bit too much and didn't get much of a break on it.
2-2 now. He is staying inside on Lucas.
Guy just tries to slap the ball around the diamond. So those are the kind of guys that try and crowd with the fastball. You leave one out over the plate, just dump it into right. Especially with 2 strikes. That's where you want to pitch. Pitch in if you can.
Lucroy asked him to shake. Puts down the one he wants, and the 2-2 pitch. Lucas takes a ball. Full count now. See the pitches by inning for Gallardo after a rough first, and most of that in the first inning came against Echeverria, the leadoff hitter, who had a 10-pitch at bat to start the game.
And Stanton had a 6-pitch at bat.
And we got a long one going here with Ed Lucas. Bullpen picked up 3 innings last night. Loesch went 6 shutout. Marlins have not scored in this series. 14 scoreless on the board. Gallardo hoping to add to it. Pitch number 8 of the at bat. Bouncing ball up the middle. That's going to sneak through a base hit. So Lucas scrapping away, and he delivers with a single. And the Marlins with 2 men aboard for the first time tonight. Hey, we encourage you to check out FoxSportsWisconsin.com. Paul Imig scours the internet every week to find the best tweets from Wisconsin athletes. You can check out his top 10 tweets every Friday on FoxSports.com. So Gallardo with 2 on behind him for the first time tonight. And here's Giancarlo Stanton. Not the guy you want up with men on base. Strike one.
The first at bat for the Marlins with a man in scoring position tonight.
Two balls and a strike. Stanton lined out his last time up. He walked in the first. Hitless in the series. But a guy who can cut the deficit in half quickly for the Marlins with one swing of the bat. And a bouncing ball to first. Francisco fields a tough hop and hits the base runner.
And that's just not a good idea right there. 6-0. You take the easy out at first. Forget about the lead runner. And you can see that was trouble from the beginning. Just didn't have the angle. Hit the runner in the back, and now the base is loaded with 1 out. And when you have a big lead like this, you just take the out right there. The easy, just go to first, make the tag, and you have second and third and 2 outs. And that'll be a throwing error on Juan Francisco.
So the base is loaded now, 1 away. Gallardo facing Logan Morrison, the Marlins cleanup hitter. Gallardo's had great success against Morrison throughout his career. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Bouncing ball, got a chance to turn it. Weeks, Segura in time for the double play. How about Gallardo getting out of a mess? And Schaefer's woes continue against Giovanni. Still 6-0 Crew. Lottery reminding you to please play responsibly. and by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Six nothing. The Brewers have the lead over the Miami Marlins on Negro League Tribute Night tonight. Gallardo has been great. 6 shutout on the board for Giovanni, getting a big double play by Logan Morrison. With the bases loaded. Fouls one off the mask of Mathis. How about the back toss of Gallardo? That's good good distance on that.
Yeah, right at Eddie, down at third base. Eddie joking around with Yo. He was going to wing and throw it back at him.
Gallardo helped set up a big inning in the 4th. Had a sac bunt. Brewers scored 3 runs in that inning. Slowly back out for his 2nd inning of work. Trying to restake his spot in the starting rotation. He made a start against the Brewers earlier this year.
Yeah, did not fare all that well when he was starting games. ERA close to 5. 1-6 record in 14 starts. But has fared much better out of the bullpen.
Gallardo strikes out. And Slowey has faced 4 batters. He has 3 strikeouts. 1 gone in the 6th. The Brewers beat Slowey back on June 12th. That was that Alfredo Figueroa gem against the Marlins. Brewers beat Miami 10-1 that day. That was the last game of the series. Milwaukee won 2 out of 3 from Miami. Trying to make it back-to-back wins here in this series with 1 to play tomorrow. 2-0 shutout win yesterday and a 6-0 lead here tonight. Aoki with 2 hits. He drove in a run back in the 4th. Scored twice. It's been a good night for the Brewers offensively. Balanced offense.
Up and down that lineup. That base hit by Aoki on a 2-0 count in the 4th inning kind of opened it up for the Brewers and Giovanni Gallardo. Another strikeout for Kevin Slowey.
Yeah, his 4th already, and a rare strikeout of Aoki. A reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. 2 outs. Here is Segura. 2 out of 3 tonight. 2 singles. Segura went to right field in the 1st inning. Pulled one into left field in the 4th. His 35th multi-hit game. That's tied for 2nd in the National League. Only Matt Carpenter has more multi-hit games than Gene Segura. Segura is playing in his 94th game of the year and has at least 2 hits in 35 of them. He is the National League hits leader opening play today. Into right field for Stanton. And Slowey has come on and settled things down for the Fish. 6 up and 6 down, including 4 strikeouts. at Miller Park. It's brought to you by Toyota. Gallardo has been great. 6 innings, no runs. He has 5 Ks thus far. Jonathan Lucroy having a big night at the plate tonight. He is a triple away from a cycle. Stanton pushed one over the fence and his 6th home run in his last 9 games for Lucroy. And Ricky Weeks also homering tonight. Those are the 2 long balls for the Brewers. Weeks with number 10 on the year. Lucroy with number 14. Ryan Braun has a couple of RBIs tonight with a double. And the Brewers lead 6-0 as we play in the 7th. And we'll see if Gallardo can get through 7 clean. Marlins have not scored in this series. Now 15 consecutive scoreless innings for Brewer pitching against Miami. Marcell Ozuna leads off. Ozuna's been able to hit this year in his rookie season, maintaining a batting average in the high 260s. He's got a very interesting timing mechanism at the plate as he takes the bat off his shoulder and he comes all the way around over his head, points the bat at the pitcher all in one motion. It seems like there'd be a lot that could break down in this setup, but it's all the kick mechanism for Marcell Ozuna to get his bat going. And Gallardo walks him on 4 straight. Giovanni has not walked a batter since the 1st inning. Just his 2nd of the night.
And for just $20, see the Brew Crew in the zoo get 1 Terrace Reserve ticket to select Brewers games and 1 2013 adult admission ticket to the Milwaukee County Zoo. Plus a free beverage tumbler. For tickets, visit brewers.com/zoo.
Now Gallardo with a runner at first and Derek Dietrich at the plate has one of the 4 hits for the Marlins tonight. Gallardo's been able to induce 2 double plays. He got one last inning with the bases loaded and Logan Morrison at the plate. That was a big one for Gallardo. Keeps the shutout intact. His pitch count at 97. You know, Renicky hoping to get him through 7 innings. Especially with a shutout going.
And not sure he's going to be able to continue or finish the game. He's got 98 pitches right now. And Brandon Kinsler getting loose in that Brewers pen.
That ball's hit into center field, going to bounce, a base hit. So Dietrich, his 2nd hit, and now 2 on to start the inning for the Marlins. Mike Redmond's going to call on a pinch hitter here at the pitcher spot coming up. Donovan Solano will bat. And now Renicky sends Lucroy and Bianchi out to Gallardo to give Kinsler a little time to get loose. Something about the Marlins for Gallardo. He has dominated them in his career. He's 4-0 with a 1.29 ERA in 6 career starts.
Man, he's given up next to nothing. Only 4 earned runs. What'd you say? How many?
Yeah, 6 earned runs.
6 earned runs.
A 1.29 ERA leading up to tonight, and he has 6 shutouts so far.
Just one of those teams where he just has that comfort level. You know, different players on the Marlins, it really doesn't matter. But over the years, he's dominated them. Somewhat the same thing with the Houston Astros for Gallardo. I mean, just good numbers, good feelings, regardless of whether it's home or on the road.
Gallardo's next start will come against the Padres on Thursday. That'll be the day game Thursday. Solano is swinging a miss, and it's 0-2. Giovanni has his own personal scoreless streak going against the Marlins of 14 innings. Got away with a hanging slider, didn't he? Solano's been a good pinch hitter in his career. 8 for 21. Has 3 RBIs, hitting for a .381 average. This year he's 2 for 6 in this role. Just don't want to let the Marlins up for air right now. That's the key for Gallardo. Try to minimize the damage. Just double play ball would go a long way here. Marlins are headed to the bottom of their order. Got Mathis due up next, the catcher, and then Juan Pierre after that.
Marlins just fouling off pitches. Gallardo having a tough time putting them away lately. Started in the 6th. Gets the 2 strikes and just can't get a put away pitch on him.
A deep breath. Back at it. See what he has in mind. 1 and 2. In the air to right. Aoki is there. Makes the catch. Ozuna tags and will make it to third base. So the first out does advance a runner. Now 1st and 3rd with 1 away, and Mathis coming up. And Ron Roenicke coming out. Looks like the end of the line for Gallardo as Roenicke makes a call to the bullpen. Pencil him in for 6 and 1/3. And he will exit with 2 runners on base. In comes Kinsler, a pitching change at Miller Park, and a nice hand for Gallardo on his way out. Get through the 7th inning, but he goes 6 1/3 strong, and at this point no runs in for Gallardo. 5 strikeouts, and he is in our shining moment of the game, brought to you by Marshfield Clinic.
Yeah, got that pitch count over 100 pitches, and that's what got him out of the ball game. But Giovanni did not allow a man to second base until the 6th inning, able to get out of a jam with the bases loaded with 1 out with a double play ball in the 6th. A 4 to 6 to 3 double play, and a couple men on here in the 7th, and Brandon Kinsler is going to take over. Kinsler last pitch on the 12th against the Diamondbacks in Arizona, tossed a perfect inning. Has been unscored upon in 8 of his last 10 appearances.
There's that power sinker and a great opportunity to perhaps get a double play ball here. Jeff Mathis coming up has grounded out to Segura twice tonight. And perhaps Roenicke thinking about the matchup with Kinsler against Mathis. Brewers have turned 2 double plays already tonight. Brewers bullpen, if you go back to May 7th, the best ERA in the major leagues. 2.47 ERA, and that was right about the time Francisco Rodriguez was signed. He arrived and made his first appearance on May 16th.
Well, what a turnaround for that group down in that bullpen. It's been amazing.
Shattered bat. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And the Vapor was not very good for the bullpen. Michael Gonzalez was giving up a lot of runs, and John Axford having his problems, but Francisco Rodriguez, he showed up, mid-May, and things turned around quickly. Let's see what these guys have been able to do. A 247 earned run average, the best in all of baseball since May 7th. Everybody has, found their role, and I think K-Rod at the end of the game, Henderson, Axford, everybody's benefited from that. You can use Michael Gonzalez as that situational left-hander. You got your long men down there, and Brandon Kintzler's been pretty good as well.
And there's a strike to Mathis. 1-2 now. And it goes hand in hand when your starters are going deep in games and pitching well. That usually means your bullpen is rested. But I would say, for the most part, the bullpen hasn't been rested. They've been used a lot and still having success. 1-2 to count. Kintzler deals, and a bouncing ball foul. He is really staying inside on Mathis. That sinking fastball at 93 miles an hour, just boring in on him.
Yeah, the Brewers bullpen has been used more than any in the National League as far as relief appearances. This is the 310th time that Ron Roenicke has used one of his relievers.
Wow.
And that leads the National League. But still, they're able to get the job done.
Little jam shot. Segura went back. Now he'll come in, and he makes a catch for the out. Boy, Kintzler, he just stayed right in on the hands of Mathis. He broke one of his bats, and that one was right in on the knuckles. That had to hurt. Well, don't forget, our Brewers Live postgame show is coming your way after our ball game tonight. Craig Kashan and Jerry Augustine, and also have an instructional tonight as part of our Brewers Live postgame part due of the Logan Schaefer Johnny Naron hitting instructional. Is that right?
Part what?
Due.
Oh, that's French.
It's the DEUX version.
Okay. That's the second part of a 3-part instructional.
I'm guessing part 3 is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nice. That's one of my favorite instructionals, though, with those two guys. 2 outs for Pierre. And 2-0 on him. We're going to sit down with Logan Schaefer at some point, probably on the next homestand. We're going to remember we had the Phantom Cam, and Schaefer had his first big league home run with Phantom Cam. We're going to go through his swing. He's going to break it down for us, talk about the science of hitting and how he approaches opposing pitchers. So that's on the books.
Did the Phantom Cam get the silent treatment in the dugout too?
Yes. Twice, just like Logan. Second at bat for Pierre. He singled his last time up and flicks that one foul. It's 2-2. Kintzler deals a 2-2, and Pierre strikes out. Kintzler strands 2 inherited runners, preserves the shutout, closes the book on Gallardo, and it's still 6-0 stretch time at Miller Park. Brandon Kintzler doing a nice job out of the bullpen.
came in relief of Giovanni Gallardo. He inherited 2 runners and stranded them to preserve the shutout. Just another example of how good this Brewers bullpen has been all season long. Their ERA just under 3, good for 3rd best in the majors. And that was the topic of tonight's AT&T Twitter poll. We take a look at the results. 52% went with K-Rod. You get your 300th save and that'll happen. You win the fan vote on Twitter. So 52% said K-Rod had been most consistent. You see the numbers there for Gonzalez, Henderson, and Axford and BA. The interesting part, all of them now, because of their performance, a part of trade rumors. So we'll see who will actually remain here as the trade deadline looms.
Yeah, and I know these guys, most of them anyway, all, maybe the exception of Henderson, are used to it at this point. Axford and Henderson have not been traded. Gonzalez certainly has. He pitched in a World Series with the Rangers, and of course K-Rod came to the Brewers originally in 2011 via a trade. That was a deal that was struck during the All-Star break. So part of the business, and when you're succeeding, there are a lot of teams that want to make those pickups. Speaking of trades, Chad Qualls is in the game. He has been discussed as a reliever that could be moved. Ryan Braun on the first pitch bounces out.
And that's what he does. Chad Qualls, a sinker bowler, gets a lot of ground ball outs, and he's been a very durable relief pitcher throughout his career. Has made at least 50 appearances out of the bullpen in 8 straight seasons.
Well, Jonathan Lucroy is coming up, and he is having a big night. Had a single in the first. He homered. Watch this. Stanton reached up for it and pushed it up and over the fence. A home run for Lucroy, and then in the 4th inning, Lucroy doubled and drove in a run. So he's a triple away from the cycle. At the plate, presented by Wendy's, Jonathan Lucroy remains red hot. 14 home runs now, 54 runs batted in. Among National League catchers, he is in the group of league leaders in RBIs. Guys like Posey and Molina.
And get off to a very slow start. The month of April didn't do much. All that damage you see right there has come lately. Last couple of months.
50 RBIs while in the game as a catcher. Leads the league, but he's also among that group in RBIs for players who have their primary position as catcher. Now Posey plays a lot of first base. Molina's been playing some first base recently. Could be an area where you'd see Lucroy down the road. A guy who hits like this, anything to keep his bat in the lineup. You can't catch every day, so you'd like to be able to find another position for him when he doesn't catch.
There was some talk about maybe giving him a first baseman's glove and move over there from time to time, but that has not panned out yet.
And how about Lucroy with his 4th hit? Reaches out on a 2-strike pitch and singles to center field. 4 for 4 tonight.
Yeah, but you would certainly like to be able to keep him in that lineup. He has played first base. He hasn't started a game over there. Came in late in the ball game. A slider from Chad Qualls. Lucroy goes down and gets it. So 2 hits to right, 2 hits to center field, and that kind of gives you an idea of what Lucroy's been doing lately. Not trying to pull the baseball.
Lucroy's been able to raise his batting average 10 points tonight with the 4 hits. Now hitting .286. And that'll bring up Gomez with a man on. Brewers with 11 hits now, 6 runs on 11 hits. Lucroy twice this year has 4-hit games, also has a 5-hit game. How about a text question, partner? Courtesy of Ho Chunk Gaming. Brian in Port Washington asking tonight what happens to the jerseys that the Brewers are wearing tonight. They are going to be auctioned off. The game worn jerseys are signed by the players. They'll be auctioned online. And the proceeds, so they go to the Brewers Community Foundation, and then they're earmarked for the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum in Kansas City.
Nice.
And the yesterday's Negro League Foundation. So there's two areas.
They get washed first, though, don't they?
Oh, I think so. Washed, signed, auctioned. And that's why the Brewers have this Negro League tribute night each and every year. It's the 8th annual Negro League tribute night, and it goes to a great cause. Happy to be a part of it. As Gomez strikes out. 2 outs in the inning. Chad Qualls had quite an all-star break. He and his wife welcoming in a child to the world during the all-star break. A well-timed delivery.
Right. Amazing how that happens.
Congratulations to the Qualls family. And now he's back at work. Francisco splinters his bat on that sinking fastball by Qualls.
I'm reading the game notes that are issued by the Marlins. Since 2004, Chad Qualls trails only Francisco Rodriguez in appearances. 634, not including tonight. So the 2 top relievers as far as appearances go over the last 10 years in the ballpark tonight.
Have to have some level of success to be used that often.
And durability, right?
Qualls was traded last year from the Yankees to the Pirates. That was kind of a under the radar deal. Casey McGee was the player who went from the Pirates to the Yankees, you might remember. Qualls has had a couple of rough years. He's bounced back with a good one this year, and he strikes out Francisco to win the inning. Brewers get a hit from Lucroy, a 4-hit night from the Brewer catcher. We're on our way to the 8th. 6-0. Catcher's mitt. 6-0 our score. The real catcher is back in there. Lucroy with a 4-hit night tonight. Tomorrow it's going to be Willie Peralta in the finale of the series, matching up against Henderson Alvarez. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. We are on the air tomorrow for Brewers Live at 12:30. Craig Cashon and Jerry Augustine will have the Brewers Live story for you. First pitch just after 1 o'clock. Third and final game of the series, and the third game of a 7-game homestand. The Padres come in on Monday. Hope you'll make plans to be with us at some point on the homestand. Weather's great, ballpark is great, fun experience to hang out at Miller Park. And the Brewers looking for their 3rd straight win. Kinsler back on the mound. Got the last 2 outs of the 7th inning. Gallardo goes 6 1/3. 5 hits, no runs for Giovanni. He's in line for the win. Did not allow an earned run to the Marlins this season in his 2 starts. 14 1/3 innings for Gallardo, and a victory tonight for Giovanni would send him to 5-0 against the Fish. Bounce to third, gobbled up by Bianchi. 1 gone. Echeverria retired.
This bullpen just continues to throw strikes, pounding the strike zone, getting ahead in the count, and making good pitches. It seems as though every one of these relievers seems to know their role. I mean, right now, Brandon Kinsler, middle relief. He'll come in, get a couple of outs. Brewers have a lead. He'll stay in there, and these are important innings for a guy like Kinsler. He needs to get through this 8th inning. Well, the goal for Ron Roenicke is not to have to use his big boys at the end of the game that he likes to save for a spot like tomorrow. You got to have Kinsler be able to get through the 8th, maybe bring somebody in for the 9th.
Well, you're getting to the point after the All-Star break where some pitchers need innings. Gonzalez will be next. One ball, 2 strikes on Ed Lucas. Got to be encouraged about Gallardo. He's hoping for a big second half. If the Brewers finish this off, Gallardo would go to 8-8. His next start will come against the Padres. You'd like to see Giovanni get on a roll here. Little jam shot out to Segura. 2 outs, 2 ground outs from Kinsler.
And the starting rotation is doing their job when you have a guy like Tyler Thornburg that hasn't pitched in quite some time. He's your long reliever. He's the guy that picked up for Kyle Lohse in Pittsburgh in that rain delay. He also pitched in the extra inning game. That long extra inning game in Pittsburgh. He's been back on July 5th. The starting rotation starting to come around. The bullpen has been solid. And tonight the Brewers have been able to pick up some runs.
Stanton bounces 1 to third. Long throw for Bianchi. Got him. 1, 2, 3 inning. Kinsler impressive. Faced 5 batters, retired them all with a strikeout. been a good night for the Brewers tonight. 6-0 our score. A shutout still intact. Marlins have not scored in this series. Got a combined shutout yesterday on a 6-hitter. It's been a 5-hitter tonight. As we head to the Brewer half of the 8th inning, bottom of the order is coming up. And it's going to be Mike Dunn, the former Brave, on to pitch for Miami.
Well, good numbers for the left-hander, 1 of 2. We saw the Jennings, the other left-hander in the ballgame last night, 47th appearance. A .283 earned run average, averaging almost 1 strikeout per innings pitched. And he's given up 3 home runs. Third reliever, I should say, used by Mike Redmond and the Marlins tonight.
Well, Ricky Weeks all set to lead off. He has walked tonight and he has homered, and that came back in the 4th inning. His second career home run against Eovaldi on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball at the letters. He ripped one out of here. How many guys can get to that pitch? Weeks did for his 10th home run of the season. Brewers chased Eovaldi after just 4 innings. He gave up 10 hits and 6 runs. His worst start of the season. Marlins have gone 17 scoreless innings in this series. And if you go back to their final game before the All-Star break, their scoreless inning streak as an offense has now hit 23. 23 innings without a run for the Marlins. This is a club that took 2 out of 3 from the Nationals before the break. Weeks hits that one sharply. Oh my goodness, what a play by Echeverria. The throw up the line. Weeks trying to get back, and he's out at first. Morrison laid the tag down. Weeks did a great job to avoid it, but couldn't get it all stopped and turned around in time.
Man, just couldn't get the bag. Once he avoided the tag, couldn't touch first. How about that hop right there? Echeverria able to get the throw off. Ricky runs by the bag and gets tagged out on his way back. That's not something you see every day. And it was close at first base. Ricky looked like he might have gotten in there. Very close. Morrison with the tag right on Ricky's face.
That was some kind of stop by Echeverria.
Not just your routine 6-3 putout.
Yeah, no further damage. That ball did take a wicked hop on Echeverria, who is already in mid-dive. The Yankee shoots one through. A 2-hit night for Jeff Bianchi. He's 2 for 4 tonight and playing a stellar third base in this series. That'll give Uni Betancourt a pinch hit opportunity with a man on. Kinsler is out with an inning and 2/3 scoreless. Got a strikeout. Great job by Kinsler tonight.
Yeah.
Came in with runners at first and third and 1 out. He was trying to protect the shutout and retired Mathis and Pierre, and then went through the top of the order in the 8th. That bullpen ERA continues to drop. There's a strike from Dunn at 95 miles an hour. Dunn was traded to the Marlins, part of the Dan Uggla trade. It's incredible when you think about how many players the Marlins have traded away. All-star players. They've been able to trim their payroll by about $60 million from last year to this.
That's something, isn't it? It's like the Red Sox.
The Red Sox regenerated and are in first place. The Marlins had a bad year last year with a lot of big contracts. They made a bunch of deals toward the end of the year. Had that huge deal with the Dodgers that sent Hanley Ramirez out. Made a trade with the Tigers. Had that 12-player trade with the Blue Jays this offseason. Giving up on Josh Johnson and Jose Reyes, Mark Burley.
Yeah, they set themselves up before the season last year to contend for a pennant. That new stadium opening up, and things just did not go well. Things with problems with Ozzie Guillen right from the beginning, destined for failure, and they have retooled, or at least they're in the process.
There's Donovan Hand, who is scheduled to start for the Brewers on Tuesday. Getting some live game activity in the ninth, it looks like. Or maybe he's just throwing a bullpen session here. Who knows? Yeah, the Marlins minor league system, if you go by Baseball America, and they're usually the leaders as far as grading out minor league systems. The Marlins, after all of that trade activity the last year, have gone from 28, second to last, to the 5th best minor league organization when you add up all the prospects. There's a bouncing ball, and Echeverria makes a play, throw to second, and it is in time for the out.
Oh, are you kidding me? How about that play? Boy, this kid's something else. He has made 2 terrific plays in this inning alone. Well, just to get to it, he did a great job doing that, but able to turn around and get a good throw off to Dietrich. How about that throw? My goodness.
And Bianchi is a fast runner as well. What a great play. Boy, Echeverria starting to look like a potential Gold Glove candidate at the shortstop position. Marlins are very high on him. He's a guy they got in the Blue Jays trade. He was one of the 12 involved in that deal.
Brewers had a guy in 2000 and 2001 named Angel Echeverria, or Echeverria, but he didn't have an H in his name like this Echeverria has.
Got changed over the years, I guess. It evolved.
I don't think they're any relation.
Echeverria is from Cuba.
Right. Angel, I'm not sure where he was from. A first baseman and outfielder for the Brewers. Back at County Stadium.
In the 90s.
2000, 2001. I don't know why I brought that up, but I was thinking about that this entire series.
Hokie grounds out, and we are headed to the 9th inning. Brewers Live coming up as soon as our game is over, and Craig and Augie, we like to call him Croggy, getting ready.
On the way, and so far so good in the series for starting pitching. Kyle Lohse yesterday, Yovani Gallardo in game 2 tonight.
You know, we talk so much about Yovani, how he has to command and use that great breaking ball tonight. Tonight he did a great job. Not only did he have a good command of his fastball, he had that great breaking ball and used his slider and changeup very well tonight. A great game by Lohse.
Pretty good 1-2 punch so far from the Brewers starters. Willie Peralta set to go in tomorrow's game. We'll preview game 3 as well coming up in just a bit. Get inside the Brewer clubhouse. And a pitcher's best friend, gotta love a little defense in that double play behind as well. So Brewers cruising right now. Got a little more work to do, Brian and Bill.
All right, thanks a lot, Craig and Augie. And it'll be Donovan Hand to try to clean it up here in the 9th inning. The Brewers are trying to post their 7th shutout of the year. And it would be a shutout in back-to-back games with 3 more outs. And it would be 7 shutouts in the last 30 ball games, the most in the major leagues.
Yeah, things coming together for that staff. And Donovan Hand, as you mentioned, is due to make a start against the Padres. So this will be his day for his side session, his bullpen session. So Ron Roenicke using this opportunity to get him in the game and save some of his other guys.
Donovan Hand will start Tuesday. It'll be Tom Gorzelani Monday against the Padres, and then Hand on Tuesday, and then Lohse and Gallardo will finish that series. Great crowd tonight, 37,446 on a beautiful Saturday night with a moon out. Man, what a night. Great tailgating scene before the game today as well. Travel Channel had their crew here once again. That show Fandemonium. What kind of gibbous are we looking at there, Rock?
I'm not sure. Waning or waxing? Pick one.
I'm going to go with the waxing gibbous.
All right. I've really not paid much attention to the moon phases. You know, the All-Star break and everything.
Oh, I see. You're not back in on your game just yet.
Right. I'll be easing in.
All right. I don't blame you. By the way, just to clean up aisle 5 here on Andy Echeverria, as he was known.
Angel.
I'm sorry, Angel Echeverria, who played for the Brewers.
Right.
He's from Bridgeport, Connecticut. He went to Rutgers. As Logan Morrison swings and misses, 3-2 the count.
Well, again, you know, I thought they were related. I wasn't sure when I, first heard his name, in the highlight shows, beginning of the year, but very quickly realized that was not the case. I was thinking that I was not the only one that might have thought that.
I think you were, actually. Be a good Twitter poll question for tomorrow. Not to be confused with Adeiny Echeverria, who is the Marlins shortstop and has an H, which is silent, at the front of his name. It was the spelling that threw you off.
Pronunciation is what kind of got me to thinking.
I see. The Marlins Echeverria is from Cuba. Santiago de Cuba. Morrison draws the walk. Adeiny Echeverria's got one of those Rosanna Dana kind of names. Adeiny Barrera Echeverria.
Rolls right off the tongue. Boy, what a story he is. His efforts to get to the United States and play some ball. Took him a while, but he got here. And
he got some big league time with the Blue Jays last year, but he's been the everyday guy this year for the Marlins, and he looks like a good one. He's made some great plays tonight. Wave of Cuban players defecting and making their way to the big leagues. The home run derby champ this year hails from Cuba, Yoenis Cespedes. Yasiel Puig is making quite a name for himself with the Dodgers. Ozuna to left for the first out. Ryan Braun's going to get in 9 innings tonight. It's the first time he's played a full game since June 9th. And now Roenicke is on his way out. Just giving Donovan Hand a little bit of a taste of game action before his start on Tuesday. And I think Roenicke, because the starting pitching has been so good, trying to get all of his relievers some game action here. So pitching change, Gonzalez is coming in.
Ron Roenicke making a pitching change, bringing on Michael Gonzalez. And just a reminder, come out to Miller Park as the Brewers host the Padres in a 4-game set this Monday through Thursday. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com.
Gorzelani against Andrew Cashner in the opener. Donovan Hand will get game 2, then Loesch and Gallardo. Here's Michael Gonzalez. Roenicke obviously just wanted to get Hand a little bit of game activity here, and he wants to get Gonzalez in the game as well. So 2 outs to get. The Brewers trying to preserve the shutout, leading 6-0 with 1 out in the 9th. And here is Michael Gonzalez.
Outstanding numbers for Gonzalez after a slow start in the month of April. 49th appearance and a 3.00 record. And with Gorzelani in the starting rotation, he is the only left-hander in that bullpen for the Brewers.
Derek Dietrich, who has 2 hits tonight, 2 of the 5 Marlins hits. Giovanni Gallardo started, went 6 1/3 and allowed 5 hits, no runs for Gallardo. Brewers bullpen has only allowed the 1 base runner, that walk to Morrison. There's a swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Kinsler came on in the 7th, got the final 2 outs with 2 men on, and then worked a scoreless 8th inning. Now Hand combining with Gonzalez, trying to take it to the finish line here. Marlins have been shut out 10 times this year. It had been a couple of months between shutouts for the Marlins when the Brewers shut them out last night. And a swing and a miss. Dietrich strikes out. 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, high fastball, and Dietrich not even close. Pitch up and in.
And so a strikeout will be the only batter that Gonzalez faces. And now Roenicke, again, because the starters have been so good, he's trying to find innings now for his relievers coming off the All-Star break. His relievers back into game action after a 4-day layoff because of the All-Star break, and the third pitcher of the inning, Bert Badenhop, is on the mound.
Just trying to get their feet wet before too long. It's been a while. I mean, the All-Star break, and then you had yesterday's game. Badenhop, last pitch in Cincinnati. It's been that long for Badenhop. He did not appear in that Arizona series, and this on July 10th, the last time he's been in a game. Tossed a scoreless 8th inning in Cincinnati. I should say here against Cincinnati.
Placido Polanco will pinch hit for the Marlins. 6-0 Brewers. Saw Axford, Henderson, and K-Rod last night. Tonight, Kinsler, an inning and 2/3. As Morrison takes off, he'll make it on a DI, defensive indifference. Kinsler, the first reliever used tonight, and then Donovan Hand, Michael Gonzalez, and here's Badenhop. Brewers an out away from a shutout. Great pitching once again. It was Loesch, 6 shutout last night. Gallardo 6 1/3 shutout tonight. Jam shot. That is a fair ball. Bianchi all the way across the diamond in time. And that's the ball game. The Brewers win. Another shutout for Milwaukee. That is their 7th shutout in the last 30 games. Had 0 shutouts in the first 66 games, but now 7 in the last 30. A 6-0 final score, and the Marlins now with 24 consecutive scoreless innings as an offense. Gallardo's the winner, Eovaldi the loser, and the Brewers winning the first 2 games of this series, and they've now won 3 straight. We check in with Craig. It's time for Brewers Live.